Hey everybody, Donna with Photonic Health, and in today's episode of Health Made Simple, we are featuring Dr. Ruth Roberts. Dr. Ruth is a trailblazer in the holistic pet care industry. She is the creator of the original CrockPET Diet for your dogs, a name you've probably come across if you've ever searched for any ways to naturally support your pet's health through food. Um, with over 30 years of experience as an integrative veterinarian, Dr. Ruth has helped pets overcome everything from chronic kidney disease and GI issues to allergies and even that C word, using a balanced natural approach that supports the body, mind, and the spirit. But she hasn't stopped there. I just love her. She is such a trailblazer. Um, she actually has a holistic pet health coach certification program, and she really wants to continue a legacy and to pass all of this super amazing information on to other people and masses, because who doesn't have a dog or a cat these days? And the health of our animals is just absolutely paramount. And so um, she has got a group of dedicated professionals to help guide pet parents with confidence, compassion, and science-based holistic support. And together, her and her coaching team, they're reshaping what pet health and what pet wellness looks like, and not just creating an environment for your dogs and your animals to survive, but to thrive, especially in their older years. So, in today's conversation, we're going to be diving into so much more than pet food. We're going to be talking about healing from the inside out, why empowerment matters just as much as education. And it's not just about your veterinarians. It's not just, oh, my veterinarian needs to know that. They've got a lot on their plate. And so the more you can become an advocate for your own animal, the more you're going to be able to be in synchronicity with your vet and going to be able to help support your animal even better. And, you know, as we all know, our animals are usually our greatest teachers. And that's no exception for me as well. So please join us. It's going to be an eye-opening, heart-opening episode. So let's welcome Dr. Ruth Roberts. Dr. Ruth, thanks so much for being here today.
Donna, I am absolutely delighted and honored to be here with you.
Thank you. So you've helped like thousands of animals in your veterinarian career, but what inspired you to make that shift into teaching and mentoring others through your coaching program?
Rosie. Rosie was a 15, well, 17, 16-year-old Westie, and she had a litany of woes. I mean, she had some stuff going on, but her mom Janice was helping her in being the very best advocate I think I've ever seen. And Janice took Rosie to see an internal medicine specialist once a month, her veterinarian once a month, and then we had a call once a month. And Rosie had SARS, she had kidney disease, she had a congenital skin disease that was very uncomfortable, arthritis, and so she had just too much stuff going on. But what was the tipping point was Janice took Rosie in to see the internist, and they'd drawn some blood. The internist was looking at the results, and she looked at Janet and said, I don't think there's anything else I can do for Rosie. I think really euthanasia is the next best thing for her. And Janice is like, what are you talking about? I mean, she's still eating, drinking, doing the same thing she was doing last month. What is going on? And so the woman looked at her and said, there's nothing else I can do. So here's some information on some home euthanasia services, and I wish you the very best. And I'm glad that I've been able to help Rosie. Well, Rosie's creatinine, which is one of the measures of kidney function, had increased by 0.1. Rosie was just the same. So so here's poor Janet. So if she'd have followed that veterinarian's advice, this would not have happened. And what happened is I helped Janet find another internal medicine vet that was willing to work with her, willing to talk to me, and do some changes. And Rosie lived for another year.
That's amazing.
So it just really bothered me. And I'm thinking to myself, what if Janet didn't have me? And how many people are having this experience? And this was sort of during the middle of a pandemic, and a lot of people were having this experience because veterinarians were so overwhelmed, and more and more clients were being presented with two choices: either a $10,000 surgery or euthanasia, a $5,000 hospitalization or euthanasia. And there is so much more that can be done that is what we used to call conservative management. Both in terms of conventional medicine, and then if you add in all of the holistic modalities on top of that, all of a sudden you have a wide range of options. And granted, there are situations where the diagnosis is dire. Hemangiosarcoma is horrid. But even there, most vets are going to say, 2 months max. But I and many other holistic veterinarians, and even my coaches, we're seeing dogs get out to 12 months and 18 months.
Right.
So this really is what inspired developing this program, because people are left without options.
Yeah, I love that because, we hear that story a lot too with what we do. And, it's actually it's ironic, like we have a pretty similar trajectory, like very early on, like before I think we had fully committed to, back in 2009, committed to making Photonic Health a full-time business. And we had just come out with one device, and that was it. And similar situation, like one of our clients had a friend that had a doxy, and doxies, long back, can't walk, IVDD. The vet's option was put her down. And my client had been talking up light therapy to her friend, and could you imagine back in 2009 what she sounded? I mean, like, anyways, they had the dog at the vet. The lady was going to put her down, and her friend's voice popped into her head and said, just try the red light. And so the lady was like, nope, we're not going to do this quite yet. We're going to try the red light. And within 3 days, the dog was showing signs of improvement, like using the back legs. And within 2 weeks, the dog was running. And what would have, I mean, for me as an animal lover, I mean, that would have just been devastating. And so I love the fact that you as a veterinarian recognize that and go, look, there are other options, and we have people that can help you guys navigate this, because even with as much knowledge as we have, we just had a situation with one of our older dogs, and the vets didn't know what was going on. And like, that was their option. Like, after 4 days, they were like, hey, look, we can't get her red blood cell count up. And so, and it's like, for me, it was super scary. But then, like, I was like, okay, we got, like, call in the resources. And I was grateful that I had those resources available. But I don't know that everybody really realizes that there are other resources available. And that's what I love about your program.
Thank you. And I mean, that story illustrates perfectly one of the first things every pet parent's got to get. When you hear that little voice, you get that little, that's when you trust your instinct and just say, I'm going to take a breath on this.
Yeah,
And can you give me something to help her be comfortable? And then that gives you a little bit of time to think through it and find the option. But that's precisely the thing, is that you and I are in this and we have options. We have friends that can help us, and we need to get those options and those support systems out where any pet parent can find them, because
cool.
can make such a massive difference.
Yes. Oh, without, I mean, my dog is still here today. And had it
Beautiful.
not been for some holistic intervention, extra holistic intervention, and she's my heart dog. So, like, and she's also the mascot for Photonic Health. She's all over our website. So, um, and it's so important. And the thing of it is it's not, don't wait until there's a crisis, right? Like that's the big thing. And I think it
Right.
goes back to let's talk nutrition briefly, because I think, that's where you really, I'm not going to say started, but like that's where health starts, is what goes in. So can you talk
Absolutely.
a little bit further on that?
I mean, that's where every doctor that gets sick becomes a better doctor. And this is how I understood the value of nutrition. In 2006, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia and IBS. And
Mm.
if I'd have gone down the conventional pathway, I wouldn't be here today. But I was fortunate to find a functional medicine doc. And he said, okay, whole food diets, blah, 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 all of this stuff. Let's use some omega-3 fatty acids to control your inflammation, et cetera, et cetera. So I did what he said, because I'd seen clients go down the pathway that I didn't want to head into narcotics and things of that nature. And I got better. And I thought to myself, why am I feeding this bag of food that looks suspiciously like the ingredients in a bag of Doritos? And that's what got me thinking. And honestly, one of my heart dog, Nepenthe, developed bacterial endocarditis, and I got her sort of stable with the conventional pathway. I was just learning acupuncture, took her with me down to Chi University, and they said, okay, do these acupoints and do these herbal formulas, and you got to cook for her. And I'm like, oh my God, this is blasphemy. So right? So, because
Right?
we're trained in veterinary school by, guess who literally wrote the book of nutrition? It was Hills at that time, because I'm old, but now it's Iams and it's Royal Canin and all the whole lot of them. But what happened was she was not having acupuncture needles, period. And she did think the herbs were okay. And she ate the food. And over 3 months, I watched her get better. And on ultrasound, I watched her heart valve lesion, go from a centimeter in diameter to 3 millimeters in diameter, which is about the width of a piece of paper. And so
Wow.
at that point, it's like, oh, I
Yeah.
can't, I have to start talking to my clients. And it was terrifying,
Yeah.
because this is not what I was trained. So I started doing it, and then the very first pet food recall hit, and all of a sudden I had 1,000 dogs that I knew of and cats on this diet, and the changes that happened were astonishing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you got to start with the bowl. And that's, have said for years, your pet's best health starts in the bowl.
Correct. Correct. And absolutely. And we had we've always had big dogs, and then golden retrievers, and they were hunting dogs and they were outside dogs. And this was, like you said, before there were recalls on pet food, right? And so back when, like a really good quality dog food was actually, I'm not going to say halfway decent, but, better than the average. And it wasn't until we got little dogs, i.e. Frenchies, that I'm like, okay, I got to pay attention to this. And and for those of you that don't know, Frenchies have they get IVDD, they have breathing problems, they have stomach problems. Like from a veterinary perspective, they are like a medical nightmare. Um, and
Yeah,
so, right, but
that's a polite way to say it.
yes, yes. But that being said, they're amazing dogs. We absolutely love the breed. And so we went in it going, okay, we know we can't feed like we've been feeding the big dogs. And so that's how we actually found you with the CrockPET diet. And it's been, people are like, what do you mean you have two Frenchies and they don't have bad gas and they don't have skin problems and they don't have breathing problems and you've never had to have a breathing surgery on them? And I'm like, well, gas, it's all inflammation. Like if you give them the food and they get gas, that's inflammation and that's a sign that the body isn't working the right way. And them not breathing in a lot of cases, there are instances obviously where the surgery may be necessary, but like in a lot of cases they're just like people. Like if I eat something that my body doesn't agree with, it's going to show up in my sinuses. So why wouldn't dogs be the exact same way?
Right on.
Yeah.
And and that is such a profound, I mean, that is a profound testament to the power of food because they really love Frenchies. They are adorable, but they are challenging to deal with for sure. So that
Yeah.
makes me so happy to hear
Yeah.
how well your dogs have done.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. And so it's one, and sometimes, and we're so busy, right? Everybody's always so busy. And so I at first thought, oh my God, I'm not going to have hours to cook for these dogs. Like what did I get myself into? But with your crock pot thing, like
Yeah. And
easy,
that's it. That's and
easy.
that's the way I set it up because if you
Yeah,
can't do it consistently, you're not going to do it. And I
right,
get it. I mean, at one
right.
point Mary Jo and I had 5 dogs and 5 cats, and we could knock out a month's worth of food in about 4 hours. And
Yeah.
that's from, pulling stuff out of the fridge to washing the last pan. So it's one of those deals. It's just instead of making an investment in veterinary care, you're making your investment in time to prevent the need for veterinary care. It is so critical.
And it's so much more reasonably priced. You might
Yeah.
think that $6.99 for really good quality ground beef is expensive, but not when you go into the veterinarian's office and it's $800, $600,
Yeah.
$800. I mean, like, phew. So I was so grateful that I found you and your program, and then through one of our long-term clients, we reconnected, and that's how I found out that you have a coaching program. And for me, it was like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense because we're we're really good at light therapy and what we do. And from a personal perspective, I've got lots of experience with my own animals, but our photonic health embodiment, it's not, light therapy can work really well given the right environment. And a lot of people just need that guidance on nutrition and supplements. And so when I found out that you had this program, that you actually have coaches that people can reach out to and contact and get this guidance from, I just thought it goes so hand in hand with what we do here.
And likewise, I mean, so many of the coaches were already using your products and having amazing results. But that's exactly it. I mean, if you're out in the weeds, you've gotten this horrible diagnosis and you don't know there are other options. That's where it gets really scary. But if you know, oh, yeah, I heard this thing on Photonic Health about holistic pet health coaches, that's the deal right there. You can get in touch with one of the coaches, get on a call with them, and start pulling a plan together almost immediately. And that's what they've been trained to do is like, okay, let's get you some options so you can get some relief quickly for your dog, for your cat, and then let's work on the long-term plan. Because this is kind of the difficulty with Western medicine is it excels at emergency treatment, but
Yeah,
not at chronic care. And so we're still trying to approach chronic cases with emergency style treatment. And it will work to some degree, but the trajectory in the degradation of that animal's health is a lot faster than we would like it to be. So that's what your coach can help you do is figure out, okay, your vet saw this and this and this, and you might ask them about X, Y, and Z as well. Here's some things we're going to start on. Let's get a little more information, and then let's formulate the first stop in the plan, in the healthcare journey, and keep working with each other because things will change and shift, sometimes in expected ways, sometimes in unexpected ways. But that coach is there to help you get through it. And if they get stuck, they've always got my ear.
I love that. So for people that are listening that are going, okay, are these people, obviously you're a veterinarian, but um, like I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it. I
All right.
know I am the type of person that, if I hear somebody talking, I can pretty much decipher if they're full of BS or not, and whether or not to trust them. So for me, it's not, I don't want to say a matter of credentialing because I've certainly encountered people with lots of diplomas on their walls and it didn't end well. I'll just say it nicely.
Okay, that's very polite.
I'll be very polite about that. And then I ran into people where they didn't have one diploma on their wall and they were just absolutely incredible. And the information and the knowledge that they provided was life changing. So, can you walk through and give us a little bit of a backdoor look at what does it take for somebody to go through your coaching program and just sort of answer some of those. If they're not a veterinarian, then how are they going to know what they're talking
What to
about?
do? Right on.
Yeah.
So, first off, the program is approved for 40 CE credits for veterinarians and veterinary technicians in the United States and Canada. So, that was not easy, as you might guess. And ultimately, what that means is that that is the level of education these people are going through. And we do have 2 veterinarians that are going through the program now. We've had 5 registered veterinary technicians. And I gotta say, it was a little scary, like, oh my God, are they gonna think this is, baloney or what? And what they're telling me is that, wow, because there's a review of physiology, of anatomy, all of those things, and then how to take the functional medicine approach, and then how to take the traditional Chinese veterinary medicine approach. And what they've been able to do is like, that really helped me look at things very differently so that I was able to go and help my clients help their pets in a very different way. But to be fair, the vast majority of people that have taken the course are what I call the pet professionals. So the groomers, the dog walkers, the pet sitters, the dog trainers, the folks that own really high quality pet stores. And these are the people that have seen your dog go from a beautiful, healthy, slick 2 year old dog to a dog that looks old at 5. And they see those changes and they want the tools to be able to help you stop that from happening. So and then we've also had several human health coaches go through the program. But what's happening is they get that exposure to the concepts of those both of those systems of medicine, and then
Right.
how to use the original CrockPET diet and modify it for various problems that different pets face, and then how to understand how to heal gut health. And then we go through the organ systems. We also do help them learn how to build a business. And so we're trying to offer the most complete package so that my goal was to get them to get 80% of the results that I could get with a veterinary degree and training in, you know, traditional Chinese medicine in terms of acupuncture, herbal medicines, food therapy, and then functional medicine therapy. Or so it's just been truly the honor of my career to see these folks get in there and get through it. And it's hard. I mean, I had one of my early graduates, Maggie Shellhammer, actually was speaking with earlier today. She's a groomer. She's been a groomer for 20 years. And what she told me on her exit interview was, I didn't think I could make it. I didn't think I could get through this. And then I said, I got to do it. And what she told me was, this course showed me that I am capable of so much more than I ever thought. And that's the deal, is that if you love something, it's maybe difficult to get through, but the payoff is that your knowledge base is exponentially increased and you are able to serve pets at such a higher level.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And, even to be able just to serve your own pets.
And
And
we have a
and
lot of
knowledge
folks
is
that do
not,
that too,
yeah,
because it's like, I don't want to do this experience I just had with autoimmune disease or the big C word, as you said, yeah, again. So I need the information to help be the best advocate I can be.
yeah, yes, definitely. It's incredible. Oh, sorry, there goes the cat.
Of course, they have to show us.
He's
You
a
may
little
you
bit late to the meeting, but
Yeah, well.
he made it. He made it. He's usually right there next to me. So he was late, but that's all right. It's so important because that's the one thing that nobody can take away from you is your knowledge.
Yes.
And and I don't, I'm pretty sure that like the people that are listening to this that we attract in are lifetime pet owners. We just can never not see ourselves with cats, dogs, horses. And so I don't know what the future holds, but I know that none of us are living forever and none of us are getting out of here alive. But what I do know is I want my pets to live the longest, healthiest, happiest lives possible. And I feel like it's sort of like a virtual toolbox. The more knowledge I have, those are tools that I have in my toolbox so that if something happens, I can respond and I can at least if I don't have the answer, I can at least get to somebody that can direct me in the right path and go, oh, you need to go this way, that guide me along. And to be able to have that is like incredible. And the fact that you've got this network of coaches and you do have this coaching program, um, I, I think you're probably one of the early adopters, I'm going to say, because you were the first one. I was like, what do you mean she's got a pet health coaching program? Like, I was like, oh, okay, okay, yes, absolutely. There should, like life changing, life changing.
Yeah,
And you're
and that I mean, this is part of the problem, right? Is that like, I finished veterinary school in 1990, and they were talking about creating the equivalent of a physician's assistant then. That's 35 years later. And University of Colorado actually did start to create a program, and they're developing the educational tracks to go with it.
Right.
But we're in a situation where Mars is predicted we will be 24,000 veterinarians, small animal veterinarians short by 2030. And current estimates are that we are 12,000 short. And
Yeah.
then the other issue is that there are a lot of people that are not wanting to go to the vet because it's going to be $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, and they just don't trust that those are the best options for their pets. So it's a
Yeah.
very unusual situation, and
Absolutely.
we have got to get options to pet parents because they're out there guessing, and that's dangerous too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what, like, can you go through, like, for somebody that maybe is interested in your program, like, what does that look like? Like, what does the actual training look like? How long is it? What kind of supports do the students receive?
So there's the majority of the material, there's pre-recorded videos for every module, plus a transcript, plus a downloadable MP3, plus the slides for the module. And so within each module, there's an awful lot of information available for whatever your learning style is. And then for each module, you're asked to do multiple choice quiz and also a homework. And the homework is either written or more often a video. And the reason we do that is because you have to talk to people to do this as for a living. And it helps the students organize their thoughts quickly and into a 5-minute response to a particular case question. So each of the modules has that. And then at the end of the course, you're required to submit 2 case studies, and they are actual recorded coaching sessions. And you will turn those in, and along with the client information sheet, your notes, so that you show the work, right? What your thought
Right.
process was in making these recommendations. Along the way, at the beginning of the course, you are assigned a mentor, and the mentor will kind of do a case consultation with you for one of your pets so you understand what the whole process is about. And then the mentors have coaching hours or office hours on a weekly basis. It's been amazing to see the peer groups with each mentor lift each other up, offer each other options and support and help. And then additionally, every Monday I have 3 hours of coaching calls. So 2 for the students. The graduates can come on those, as well as the last hour reserved for our graduates. And what we've found is that in that process of, hey, I've got this case, um, you know, learning professionally how to describe what you're seeing, what you're understanding from the pet parent, and then what your thought process is next, and what else can I do to help this pet. That has helped people grow professionally so quickly. And then the course itself is hosted in a platform called Circle. And we also have our community there. So it is completely private. And I felt that that was really important to not have a Facebook group, because Facebook can decide, nope, you're saying things we don't like, and shut you down. And this way,
Right.
it is completely private. Practice is indeed practice. You learned through doing, and you learn sometimes through your mistakes. So this is a way to be vulnerable and honest and open with what you're dealing with, so that I can help, the mentors can help, and your peers can help. So it is a very intensive program. We have a ton of support built into it because it's not easy. It's set up as a 16-week program with an additional 30 days to complete. the requirements. We do have a 12-month program available, but frankly, the folks that get in there and get it done are the ones that are going to be more successful, whether they're using it for their own pets to help their friends and family out, or if they're intending to add this on to their career.
Right. I love that. I love that. And it's so important because we all, we have a program. Before COVID hit, we taught it all in person. And we're in the stages of getting all of it online. And so, how do you teach anatomy, online? Like, for us, we're very tactile and we're very hands-on. So, and part of teaching and having a huge background in teaching, what we've learned is that sense of the tiers like you have, like your peers, like peer learning is incredible. And then having that mentor and then having you as I'm not going to say authority, but like when times get really tough, we need to, we need another layer. Um, what an amazing community that is, and what an amazing support system, to be able to have that and to build that in. So congratulations to you guys for thinking so far ahead and going, hey, we want to make sure that people succeed and that they feel supported and they feel seen and that they have a place to go when they get stuck in a corner. Um, that's incredible. What has been like one of the biggest? I know you've got lots of success stories, but like from a coaching perspective, do you have like a really, um, like one of your coaches? Like, can you give us a success story from one of your coaches?
Yeah. So Natalie, who is one of our mentors, had this, and she's gone on to do some crazy good stuff, but with her own dog, Jagger, 10-year-old sort of collie mix, felt fine. Took him into the vet. His liver values were astronomically high.
Mm,
And with so we're talking about it during our mentor meeting. And so, okay, try this, try this, try this. And what she was able to do was have enough backup to say no when it was
wow.
important. So her vet's like, oh, he has Cushing's. And I'm sorry, but an acute liver enzyme elevation of 3,700, which is astronomically high, is probably not Cushing's. And so she said, okay. And so she kept asking for the tests so that, we could better define what was going on. And the veterinarian referred her over to an internal specialist, and the internal specialist said, yeah, this is not Cushing's. And, we can do a CT scan and blah, 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 blah. And Natalie had the support and the confidence to take a deep breath and say, let's keep that in our back pocket because a CT scan requires anesthesia. So
Correct.
we kept working and supporting, at that visit at the oncologist, because the vet was saying, oh, well, it's probably cancer too. Rechecking the labs after making simple changes in the diet, adding in a couple of supplements, the liver values had dropped in half in 2 weeks. So
Wow.
she's like, oh, good, this is working. And right. And then now she had more information to act on. And so, long story short, over the course of about 3 months, the liver enzymes went down to normal. And what she realized is that Jagger actually felt a heck of a lot better. So, she had gotten accustomed to the new normal. And once his liver was better supported, as all this garbage is cleaned out, he actually felt good. And he was doing stuff he hadn't done in several years. And
Yeah.
she went on to, she had a client come in with a horrible melanoma under the eye, and they worked together using several techniques. And dadgum, if that thing didn't just go away
Oh,
for a little bit,
I
and
love
that's
that.
that's amazing. So
I love
that's the thing is the part of what we teach the coaches is to stay curious and to try things, because there's the here's the thing that works 80% of the time, but there's the 20% that you've got to try some other things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. And it's so important because even for me, and I'm a Leo, I'm a pretty outspoken, person, lady. Even for me to be able to say to a veterinarian, I'm not quite so sure on that, takes a lot because, you know, we've been taught that they are I'm not going to say, well, I'm going to say it, the be all end all, like just like medical doctors, we've been conditioned to know, okay, well, if the doctor says that it's true, then it must be true. And
Right.
when I and so I had an epiphany of like, well, wait a minute. There's so many specialties and there's so many different things to know that there is no one person, no matter how many degrees they have, that know every single thing. And so, like you said, just to be able to have enough knowledge and education to be able to follow your gut and go, yes, maybe we might need to think on that or just hold off. And have that knowledge is so important. Um, I just love your program. I just love your program. I love everything that your company represents. And it's you know, it's about really supporting these pet parents and getting their animals to live their longest, healthiest, happiest lives. And it's such an alignment with what we do at Photonic Health that I just feel like it just goes hand in hand with everything that we do. And so, for people that are interested in learning more about your program or finding a holistic pet coach for their own animals, like what is the best way for them to get information?
Super simple. Go to drruthroberts.com. If you want to find a coach, there's a tab right on top that says find a coach. So click on that. It is a work in progress. We've got some really exciting changes coming that will help you select the right coach with more ease. And then if you're interested in enrolling in the coaching program, click on the link that says coaching. We'll change that shortly to say be a coach, and you'll get information about the program. You can book a call with one of our enrollment officers and learn more, make sure that this is indeed the right next step for you, and just move forward from there.
Yay, I love that. And do you have any information? Where could people find more information about the CrockPET diet? Do you still have information out there?
Same thing. The
Thank you.
drruthroberts.com, just put the original CrockPET diet in the search bar and you'll come right up to the course. And I think that has been so helpful for people because it's, there's the ebook, there's a lot of preset recipes, there's a video on how to cook. And I am a lazy cook. It takes me about 10 minutes to load the crock pot. And we've
Right.
got a little 6-pound poodle, so we're not having to make a ton of food anymore. But literally, I think I did a video recently which will show up on YouTube shortly, but it took me, I don't know, 15-20 minutes, and I'm talking through the whole video and doing
Right.
at the same time. It's not hard, and that's the deal, is that if you're really hungry, you can just add a little salt and it's not too bad.
I love that. I love it. I love it. If it's good enough for us to eat, it's good enough for them to eat. So,
Right on.
thank you so much for being on with me today. It has been a pure joy. Um, so if you guys have any interest in the crock pot cooking for your dog, the crock pot diet for your animals, if you're interested in the coaching program, or if you're interested in talking to a coach, please visit her website, drruthroberts.com. They're the real deal, chock full of knowledge, and their goal is to help as many pet parents as possible. And so please feel free to reach out with them with any inquiries or questions that you may have. Thank you so much for being on today.
Thank you for having me. It was truly a pleasure.